Welcome to Ignite Power. Thank you for being with us today. My name is Margaret Graziano, and I have a host of co-leaders with me that are going to bring to you an opportunity to create a powerful intention for your leadership as a female in the 21st century, in probably one of the most challenging years of any of our lives so far. We're also promising that we're going to give you 3 opportunities to take on a daily discipline that shores you up to who you say that you are and who you want to be as a female leader. So how it works for most people is they start and they say, this is what I want to create in my career, and these are the actions that I'm going to take. And then whether they do or do not produces results gives them beliefs. And then based on those beliefs, they believe that they can or cannot do it. Me and everyone who's ever trained me believes it begins with state of mind. Understanding, being aware, being present to what's going on up here. Is my state calm? Is my state hyper? I feel a little hyper right now. Or is my state nervous or fearful, or is my state angry? The state of one's mind indicates everything that is or is not possible. So we all have potential. Actually, unless you have something seriously wrong with your thinking, we all are born into innate potential. And when we tap into our deepest level of self and our highest level of self, we can vision what we want for our life as leaders. And when that happens and we're clear of our vision, then we take the necessary actions, and then we either produce extraordinary results or ordinary results or average results or no results. And then we determine, that because the numbers tell the story, what worked and didn't work. Once you create your vision, there needs to be discipline that connects you to your highest level of potential and that shores up your state of mind. Therefore, emphasizing your beliefs. So the first thing we're going to do, first I'm going to share with you that in 1997, I was a recruiter. I was in one of the top recruiters in the Chicago market and one of the top, let's say 100 in the United States. I had it all from the outside looking in. I was making great money. I ran a great business. However, I didn't get to spend any time with my kids who are now men. I was always working because I thought that I had to trade time for money. And my belief system, my beliefs were that you put in the hours as a recruiter and you'll produce the result. And so I was in this addictive loop of having to push for results. And it worked. I made great money, but I wasn't happy. And then the summer of that year, I went to a program called the Landmark Forum. And in the advanced course of the Landmark Forum, I got the opportunity to create my future 20 years in the future. Now, I was in Chicago. I had no friends, no family in California. And for whatever crazy reason, this vision came to me that I would be teaching executives in California. I would have a retreat center and I would do mind, body, and spiritual training for leaders of companies so that they could create the kind of organization that even they were inspired to go to work for. And then I put that vision down and started, practicing everything I learned at Landmark. And then I became a seminar leader. And one day I was in the Velocity seminar leading people. And the Velocity seminar is about going from here to here. And I realized that I wasn't pursuing my vision, that I was waiting for someday maybe, but not now. And in that seminar, I made a declaration that I would move to Northern California and I would do the work I was supposed to do. Now I got it wasn't like I made the declaration and I went and did that. Lots of things happened in between, which I will be sharing about in today's program and in our 2.5-day retreat. I want you to know that this program was created because I actually do work with corporations and I work with CEOs in creating the kind of culture where even they are excited to go to work. And what I found is that time and time again, no matter if it's a manufacturing company or a tech company or a healthcare company, that when women speak, their delightful men partners in the boardroom want to tell everybody what she meant to say, or actually interrupt them. Or the woman speaks and says, I have a great idea, but nobody hears. And then they get angry with the men. So about 2 years into Keen Alignment, I started getting data, and company after company after company had these meeky women, two kinds of women, either the kind of woman that was going to force their way to the top, or meek and mild, waiting for permission. And so we launched a women in leadership program, and it began with Ignite Power in a 2.5-day retreat. We did it up at a place called 1440, and we had extraordinary results. And there are some people on the call today who were there. So this program really is about igniting power, tapping into that innate intelligence that we all have, checking in with our state of mind, putting disciplines in place so that we can get our beliefs in the right place, get connected with our highest level of potential, take the actions we need to take, and produce the results we want to produce. So it begins with creating a vision, and that's what I promised you we would do here today. So if you have nothing that is stimulating you to move forward, you will not move forward. You will not have momentum. You will not have progress. And the number one way people get burnt out, exhausted, aggravated, agitated, consumed with the drama of the COVID day is because they don't have anything that they're living into. They're step by step, one foot in front of the other, which is a great way for action. But if you don't have a destination, you don't know where you're going, and you don't know how to recalibrate yourself. I am so grateful that I had my vision, both when I lost my software company, which will be a story for a different day and time, and also for COVID, because I was doing 26 retreats a year before March 17th of 2020. And if it wasn't for the vision that I had to pull myself into the future, I'd still be waiting for COVID to be over. And we're not doing that. So I invite you all to either stand up. I prefer standing for this kind of exercise because it actually moves your body and you get yourself into the energy of the chi, which Jorge, one of our trainers, will talk to us about. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to point your finger towards the camera with your eyes closed. And I want you to take that finger and move it as far back as you can. And then I want you to open up your eyes and see exactly where that finger is pointing. Mine is pointing to my tree on my patio. And then I want you to come back, put the hand down, and I want you to close your eyes and visualize you turning as far as you possibly can. Visualize your hand in front of you. Visualize your waist turning and that finger pointing as far as you can get it around your body. See it. Feel it, experience the turn in your waist, and encapsulate it. Now I want you to take your finger out again in front of you and twist as far as you visualize. And if you open your eyes, you will see that you twisted much further than you did in the first place. And that's just a snapshot of the power of vision. So I want you to consider a place. This is from Lake Tahoe last week, probably one of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. I want you to either sit down or stand up and feel your feet below you. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your butt, whatever it's doing. Feel your chest, your waist, your shoulders. And I want you to close your eyes and remember a place that you've been that takes your breath away. And let it suck you in. Let it give you that energy. Breathe it in. Remember the smell, the sight, the sensation. Feel how that place made you feel. And breathe it in for a minute. Not even a minute. Breathe it in for 30 seconds. Jorge, could you mute yourself, please, honey? Thank you. So now that you've breathe it in. I want you to imagine yourself as the most powerful, effective leader that you've ever dreamed of being. Close your eyes and visualize yourself as that leader. Who are you with? What are you doing? What kind of conversations are you having? What difference are you making in the world? How does it feel to be you, and how does it feel to be those people around you? What are you doing? How does it feel to lay your head on the pillow at night? And I want you to encapsulate that snapshot of you as a leader. Open your eyes, get a pen and a paper, and write down the most important things about that visioning. 2 words, 3 words, 4 words. It's going to be important for what we're doing next. So you're writing it down. And now I want you to say, who I am as a leader is. Who I am as a leader, who Margaret Graziano is as a leader, my declaration. By the way, you don't need any evidence in a declaration because your words create your world. Who I am as a leader is someone who unlocks talent, capacity, and human spirit in people at work and in all of life. I need no evidence for that. It is my creation. Let me give you an example of how words create your reality. I walk into the massage therapist. Yes, during COVID-19, he had a mask on and so did I. And he said, how are you today? And I said, my back is killing me. And he said, be careful what you wish for, because your words create your reality. And I teach this stuff, and I didn't even get that I was creating that my back was killing me. I've gotten on the phone with consultants and clients, and they said, I've had a grueling day. I'm like, really? What does grueling mean? I'm exhausted. We create our reality moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. You want to be depressed? Create depression. You want to be sad? Create sad. Want to be angry? Create anger. Your words will tell you what to think, and your thinking will tell you how to behave. So declaration, you need no evidence. It's an act of courage. Who are you as a leader? Now, I can't put you into, it takes too long, but if we were on the real retreat, we'd put you into small groups. You'd work with small groups. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about declaration. Declaration is a habit. It is a habit of owning your words. It is a habit of creating your reality. Used to be Stephen Covey, great man, awesome author, God rest his soul, said to create a habit, it's 21 days. Now, creating a habit is a minimum of 60 days, if not 144 days. So whatever it is that you want to create a habit for, positive thinking, powerful thinking, standing up and owning your power, making declarations, enrolling people, quitting smoking, not eating white flour or sugar, or becoming a vegan, or exercising every day, you need to stay the course 144 days before your brain has committed it to a neural pathway. So if you were in a retreat with us, we would have you enroll a group of people in your declaration, and then they get to say, thumbs up, I buy what you're selling, or thumbs down, you got to go back to the well and recreate it. It is one of the most powerful ways you can see how you land, is getting immediate feedback on who am I as a leader. So what we wish life looked like, right? I was over in that landmark program and I created this wonderful life of being in Northern California. My vision was Marin because I didn't know that Santa Cruz, California even existed. Now that's where I am in Santa Cruz County. But what I wish life would have been like is one, yeah, it's a little bit of effort. I got to ride the bike. But how my life has been is I had a great company and boom, there was a recession. And then boom, we climbed out and we were in Y2K and everybody was hiring and it was awesome and wonderful. And boom, 9/11. And then after 9/11, I had to shut down a $5 million company and take it remote because my overhead was too high. So my company's been remote for a long time, but it took a catastrophic event for me to get that I was spending too much money. And then, you know, one day I have this great idea and I'm going to go to Silicon Valley. It happened to be 2010, another drastic recession. And I came here to create a software because I thought I had to create a software in order to have the vision and the credibility to help organizations create the kind of culture where even the CEO was excited to be there. I thought I had to prove something. So I got into this whole conundrum with this software company. They fired my partner. They were butchering our technology. They weren't paying people, and we were deep in shit. And I had to make a decision. I couldn't get out of bed one day, and my son said, "You're not acting like the woman who raised me. The woman who raised me would go make something happen." And that was all I needed. I got up, signed myself up for another program, which was a 3-day, it was called Discovery and Breakthrough, 3 2-day programs in getting into community who could surround me, and everybody was working on their leadership. It's why immersion programs work. And I climbed out, and when I got out of there, I sued that company for me and my partner's intellectual property, and we won it back. In the recovery of that program, I was talking to my coach, who at that time was really focused on law of attraction. And I said, well, now I have to redo this software so that someday maybe I could do my mind, body, spirit work and help CEOs. She says, no, you don't. That's just your linear thinking. That's masculine thinking that you have to take step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. She said, just create it. And so I brainstormed with her. If it was to be right now, what would need to happen? I wrote an article, it got published in a national periodical, and I landed my first $1 million account. This was, I think, in 2015. Bam, climbing out, actually, though, we accelerated out, moving along, hence comes COVID-19. And we're starting over because we've got to have a new way to do what we do, virtual and remote. So the truth is there's lots of ups and downs. And one thing that has helped me, drastically helped me, was my morning ritual. Back over here, I was coached that the only thing I could ever count on in life was myself and my own body. And that is one thing I had complete and total control over. I wasn't coached at the time that I had control over my thoughts, but I now know that's true as well. So I started taking on this thing that I live in, and I took on that every single day when I woke up, I was going to put myself into body movement that connected my heart, my head, and my physicality. And starting back 15 years ago, I started this thing called Morning Ritual. And there was people that used to work for me and are on this call right now, and they would say, what the hell is a morning ritual? And should I be doing it? Because my calendar's access for everybody to see, and everything I want to do is in my calendar, including I wake up and dedicate myself to my morning ritual. And I found whether it was going through a divorce or going through a lawsuit or going through a COVID-19, that the more I connected myself to the exact same movements every single day, that I could connect with my highest self and I could be in charge of how I worked. So ritual is so powerful because left up to the news, left up to we're open, we're closed, we're open, we're closed, we're in business, we're out of business. 16 people in one company have COVID as of today. Left up to the circumstance of the day, our limiting beliefs, our limiting behaviors, and our thoughts will constrict us and kill us. So I'd like to introduce Katie, and Katie is of Witty and Wise. Katie will introduce herself, and she will talk to us about limiting beliefs and how they sabotage what's possible.
Yes, thank you so much. If you are sitting right now and feeling inspired, I would invite you to stand up with me, because I am witty and wise, which means I'm connecting our left and right brain. So we're going to be rational thinkers. That brain's going to want to hang out with us. We will be wise. So this is your invitation to be a little witty today. And so when I get witty, I think of getting in a sandbox. It's messy. You dig around a little bit. Sometimes you find a new treasure to share with someone. Sometimes you find cat poop. We're going to play a little bit. in a sandbox. And I love that we're going to connect this with this limiting belief. And so I want you to step back into your declaration. And for me, that declaration, it's funny, my first one was here, which is my board of things I want to do. The people I want to contact, the people that are going to pay me money. But when I stretched a little bit further, right, I expanded my thinking. And so I want you to stand in that declaration, and I want you to hold it really tight, like a straitjacket. And let's get a little physical. I want you to be in a straitjacket. You are holding this declaration super tight. What do you feel here? Maybe feel constricted, maybe a little tight. What belief do you have in this constricted place around your declaration that makes you feel limited? My first declaration when I was bored of people that I need to contact. So I think about being in this place of, wow, I can only make money if I contact these people. It's really constricting because what if I don't actually contact these people? Let's come out of that. Stretch up and let's get the energy out from that because that was really limiting. The great part about limiting beliefs is there's about 2% of something that's useful. That's the wise part in your limiting belief. There's something what's valuable for me in this list is that it's a place to start. But let's expand, let's stretch out. We're in that place that's not where we start. What's over there? Look. What do you see when you turn over there? For me, I see a doorway. When I think about doorways and think about your thing and whatever you're looking at, I'm going to stare at it right now. And I want you to get playful, get a little witty. If I was a door, what would my perspective be? I would think about people and how I like to watch them leave, because that's my favorite part about being a door, is watching their little butt shake when they walk away. But I also love when they walk in, because if they're a woman, they've got nice set here. Maybe they don't, but they got a pretty face, or maybe they don't, but man, they've got energy. They got something I like. From this new perspective, when you think about your declaration, whether you had your own because you were looking at something in the room or you're going with my door, what new possibility, if you were a door, is now open to you? Did not plan that, by the way. That's the wise part. When we get a little witty sometimes, I literally just happened to have a door there. I could have turned a different direction. She could have had me point a different way. I would have pointed at windows or a wall. Think about your declaration, your limiting belief. Every morning you have an invitation to think about the value in what your limiting belief has to offer you. And you have an invitation to set a clock for 5 minutes and stretch out and find something random. I'm moving. So look, I got this rotini, which is not what I eat. It's what the man eats. What would my perspective be if I was pasta? I know that sounds crazy. But what new possibility could be open to you if you thought about your declaration from being pasta, or a doorway, or a candle? Every morning, new object, 5 minutes, get a little witty, find something funny, and offer yourself a new perspective for that limiting belief.
Katie, thank you. And Katie is, just say 1 minute, 1 second about OWL.
Sure, OWL, Outstanding Women Leaders. Owls, we give a hoot, I give a hoot. I'm also an invitation to try. I offer leadership and life coaching at owlprofessionalcoaching.com, and you're welcome to try a complimentary session. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. And Katie will be with us on our 2.5-day retreat, and will really be injecting humor. One of the things that I saw for myself is that I actually broke up with a boyfriend, and he decided he wanted to give me feedback at the end of the breakup, which is awesome because I love to learn. He said, I'm too serious. Now, this was during COVID. And what I realized is I got so serious about helping other people get through COVID that I stopped laughing. I stopped having fun. And then I started interviewing my girlfriends. And they said, well, yeah, when I met you, you had this really obnoxious, loud laugh. And it's one of the things I love about you. And then I started thinking, how long has it been since I've laughed? And my youngest, I love this girl. I hope she's on the call today. My youngest friend, Stephanie, says, Maji, it's been a couple years since I laughed. And so I sought out a humorist to partner with me in helping me lighten up my own game. And by the way, I've been developing myself since 1997. And speaking of doorways, I feel like I'm at the doorway. So however many years it's been from 1997 to 2020, and I'm just at the doorway. And so the rest of this year, I'm going to be working on humor, and I've invited Katie into our 2.5-day retreat to really help women play with their saboteur. We all have saboteurs. The I'm fat saboteur, the I'm not smart enough saboteur, the I don't have an MBA saboteur, the this is a man's company and they do things men's way, the ideal woman saboteur, oh, that food isn't as good as it could be, or I don't have the right body. All of that saboteur, 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 and we're gonna go after that in the 2.5-day retreat. So I wanna talk a little bit about the internal guidance system. We all have an innate access to wisdom, all of us. The problem is most of us are running so fast to get it done, to move through things, or we're dealing with our limiting beliefs, or we're trying to prove ourselves to someone else, that we do not slow down long enough to tap in. So earlier when I asked you to find that most beautiful place that you've ever been to, and I didn't say the word, but tap in and develop your vision from there. That's just a glimpse of what's possible when you tap into your IGS. The internal guidance system, your innate common sense and your innate wisdom, it's actually the connection of the head, the mind, or the consciousness, the heart, and the gut. When we align those three, we know the next best step for us. We know what job to apply for and what job to say no to. We know the people that are no longer right for us, or we know the people that are right for us. And so one of the things that we want to teach you, we can't do it today, but it's important whether you join us or not for our retreat, is to tap into your IGS. And one of the best ways you can do that are identifying first, if you're on a boat, where's your island? What's the vision for your life? And second, if you're on a boat, you have to continue to adjust your tack so that you stay on track. What are your values? Your values are the sails and how they respond to the outside influence of circumstance. Those are your sails, and you're adjusting your sails and your rudder so that you can stay on course. So for me, integrity is a large core value. I would say 99% of the people, whether they like me or not, would say she has integrity. She says what she does, what she says, and she says what she does, and she will cut people out that don't have integrity. I'll even be a bad girl and judge them and think they're wrong and they need coaching and therapy and all that stuff. So that's what doesn't work about my integrity, is when I use it against people. But integrity is a strong value of mine. And it's a strong value with as little bit as picking up trash in a public place, or doing what you say you're going to do by when you say you're going to do it, or firing a client for having inappropriate behavior with his employees, even when he's paying me $1 million a year. I actually walked away from a client with $100,000 a month check because he was having sex with married employees in his company, and their husbands and them worked at the company. No integrity in that. So what are your values? Write them down. What are your top values? I've got integrity, partnership, wellness. And people who know me would say that I do work really hard to have those. But what are your top 3? And when you tap into those values and you slow the roll and you slow the thinking and you turn off the TV and you turn off the radio, you just focus on where you're going, who are you as a leader, and what are your values, answers will come to you. I know that might seem airy-fairy. It's true. And we'll talk a little bit how. So I'm going to introduce you to Jorge. Jorge is keen alignment shaman. I met him because my girlfriend, who owns a business in the wellness space, they help seniors. They go and call on seniors, especially during COVID. My girlfriend Charlotte met Jorge and said, Maji, all the man did was touch my shoulders and all the anger left my body. And I said, well, Charlotte, you're a tough cookie. If he did that for you, I want to meet him. So I drove up to Sausalito and I had breakfast with Jorge. And I said, Jorge, well, the boyfriend at the time was an engineer. Since most of you are from Silicon Valley, you know what I mean by engineer. And he said, Jorge, what's your purpose? Why do you do what you do? What are you trying to get from her? And he said, my purpose is to heal the soul of the planet. And that's all he needed to say. And I invited him to come to my birthday party, my 55th birthday party, I think it was. And he spent the weekend with me and my girlfriends and a few guy friends. And he taught us about neural pathways and about our thinking and how physical activity, when in motion, can shift our thinking. And so we're going to put Jorge on. I will stop sharing. And Jorge's going to take us through some Neigong moves. Neigong is the first version, or way back, thousands of years, of Qigong, which is the flow of the yin and the yang. And here comes Jorge.
Thank you, Margie, and hello to everybody. Well, I'm going to share one exercise as we don't have too much time. I learned all these techniques in Lima's Chinatown very early in the 80s from all Chinese masters. I have not seen them too much around, but I have worked with them more than 10 years in hospitals, and I have seen the transformations they make. I just want to say that it's based on the flow of internal energy and the use of certain movements and harmonies in the body and the eyes and the breathing and the thinking. And they give us some freedom from our regular mechanics and things that have been learned basically by our suffering and our fear. So I invite you to stand up. I will go away a bit so you can see. The exercise is very simple. I will ask you to stand with your feet apart, like this. And when we are going to open up the arms very big, high. And when we come down, we are going to come down with the forearms touching, like this. And we are going to sit and open. So when we breathe in, we are going to open up and join the forearms completely, bring them like that. And we are going to sit down and go up again. But then what we are going to add is a movement of the eyes. So we are eyes open, and when the hands come over the face, we are going to close our eyes and sink down with our eyes closed. And then open the eyes big and sudden, like two lights that turn on, and then go up with the eyes open and then close them down. We're going to make it 10 times, breathing in when we open and we embrace with the arms, and breathing out when we sink. I will be doing with you. The synchronicity of the eyes is very important. Open here, very open, and close down here. Very open, and close down.
My legs are shaking, Jorge.
Say it again.
My legs are shaking.
I know it's very tough. Yeah. Yeah, those are slow and intense, but they will change the way also the blood will push into the body. Do as many as you can feel comfortable. 6, 7, 8 is fine. Yeah, that's very good. So basically, by changing the way we move and the attention and the cycles of right and left and in and out and up and down, what we are going to go is into a state of freedom, freeing the mind from the regular movements. There's one more very simple I want to share. It's a classic movement of Neikon. You lift your arms to the level of the shoulders, and you breathe out, bringing the arms close to the hip. So you breathe in up, you breathe out back, you float with the knees, and during this exercise, put your tongue over the palate, the upper palate, in an area that normally has a lot of sensitivity. It's kind of a tickling spot. And watch your fingers, very relaxed. No tension. And float with the breathing with no force.
What's the name of this exercise, Jorge?
This one is called Heaven, and it belongs to the 8 sources sequence. Actually, there are like philosophical principles expressed with the body. That needs a little bit of explanation, but through simplicity, we express those universal principles in our system. Let's make 3 more. So this is a little sample of the idea of moving on a different way and unifying all our parts to a simple movement.
So Jorge, thank you. Jorge comes to us from Lima, Peru. He has been in lockdown just like we have been. And one of the things, there's actually humor, and then Qigong or Neigong I've taken up as part of my COVID empowerment process. And then daily meditation with Bob Roth of TM, Transcendental Meditation. What Jorge has taught me in the time that I've known him, even something simple like hand movements, is if I have a hard time moving my hands in unison, he stops me and says, that is thinking that you have that holds you back. And I'm thinking, it's just a simple wrist movement. But then the next day when I do it and I'm fluid, I actually feel it not just in my wrist, but in my whole body. So thank you, Jorge. We appreciate you. Jorge will be teaching our 3 o'clock Qigong classes during our retreat that is coming up September 25, 26, and 27. So thank you. And we will move on, I believe, to Minerva. And actually, nope, it's Lauren next. So there's 5 keys to shifting our neural pathways, 5 keys to retraining the brain. 1 is we need to sleep. I know Tony Robbins says he only sleeps 3 hours a night. That's a dude macho thing to do. That is not what we're teaching. Scientific studies say that the body needs a minimum of 7 hours to rejuvenate itself and to flush out all of the stuff it doesn't need. And the brain needs it too. So sleep, critical. Body movement, whether it's Neigong, whether it's yoga, whether it's running. I can tell you also for me during this crazy time, now remember, I'm coaching people. I'm working with leaders of organizations that may be shutting down, losing millions and millions of dollars. They're on edge. So I'm soaking up all that juju all day. There have been times where my only saving grace was to get out and go run. And when I do that, it changes the body chemistry, which changes the thinking. Then, of course, mindfulness, meditation, eating right. When COVID first happened, I remember going into the grocery store, all the vegetable aisles were full, all the fruit was there, that was awesome. And then I went down, further down, which I don't buy boxed food, but I was looking for bread, no carbs, no Kraft macaroni and cheese. no canned goods. Like everything was taken, like people thought this was Armageddon. But the interesting thing is when people are under stress, they don't go to what's healthy, they go to what's comfortable. And part of building your immunity and building your strength is the 5 keys to neuroplasticity, which is rewiring those neural pathways in the brain. And the 5th is doing novel things, something new, something cool, something experiential, like painting. Lauren, who's on this call, who's going to go next, and I have been taking up weekly painting courses, and now she's painting or doing art every day. I'm doing art with my granddaughter across the country. I buy these little boxes, she gets them, we do this project together. All of it is meant to change things up. I just got back from Tahoe. Now, you might be one of those people that can't stand Bay Area people for going to Tahoe, but there's a whole lot of Bay Area people who are up there because they got to get out of these 4 walls and they got to do something new. And so changing your environment, especially when you're stuck at home all day, every day, doing something new, changing your environment helps. So mindfulness or meditation, you could be mindful by washing dishes, by the way, walking in the woods, getting your body moving, getting enough sleep, doing something new, and eating in a way that is healthy for your immunity and your mind, body, spirit, all great recipes for retraining the brain. And with that, Lauren, you are up.
All right. My name is Lauren Monach, and I am a life and leadership coach. I had a previous life as an executive administrator at a small public agency. And for 8 of those years, Maji was my coach. She made a huge difference for me in growing me from an office manager running an office to running the whole department. And I was the director of administrative operations on the day I retired in March 2018. And I couldn't have gotten there without her exquisite coaching. The biggest thing that I got out of that coaching was that not only was I a better leader because of that guidance, I clearly got that I could lift up other leaders. That was part of my feminine leadership, was making sure that other women got lifted up and could step into their own leadership. I did the best I could. It's the thing I'm most proud of. So that's my background a little bit. My history is, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about health and wellness. Most specifically, I'm going to talk about the energy around the food you put in your mouth. And I'll tell you my experience there. When I retired in 2018, I retired on March 9th. That was my last day. On March 10th, I thought I was going to be living the life of my dreams. I had my vision board. I had my whole thing all set up. I was all ready. I'd been taking a spiritual class. I was ready to retire. And my husband said, you know, it's harder than you think it is. And I woke up on the 10th and went, I am exhausted. I'm depressed. My health is terrible. What is going on? I spent the next 18 months or the next 8 months in a spin out of health. I was 80 pounds overweight. I was miserable. My feet hurt. I snored. My blood pressure was up. My blood panels were terrible. I had no energy. There was no, this human body was not going to every national park in an Airstream because I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed. And you know what? COVID's not all that different. I've had similar moments in COVID, by the way. So this happens regularly in our lives. When I got clear that if I wanted to have the life of my dreams, I had to have energy to do it. I had to think about what kind of energy I was putting in my body. And when I got clear that the food that I put in my body was, all the things I was putting in my body were blocking my energy, because that's how I was living. I was drinking too much. I was eating processed food. I was overindulged. I was eating all the time. I mean, I was eating all the time. I was eating snacks, you know, whatever the diet industry tells us is cool food. I was drinking diet soda, like all kinds of stuff. When I got clear that that stuff was blocking the energy that I needed to go live my life, it was like this. Oh, I want more energy. Here I go. So I embarked on a new way to eat. I ate whole foods. I quit 2019. No sugar, no flour, no alcohol was my big thing. I lost 80 pounds. And my life feels extraordinary to me. It feels like there's sparkles coming out of my head most days. I know. Yeah, I know. I feel so good about it. I feel so good about all those things. And I noticed that during COVID, I picked up a few bad habits and a couple pounds because of those bad habits. And I started to ask myself, what's going on that my energy feels low during COVID? I feel depressed and sad and hopeless. What's going on? And I had to look at what my behavior had started to come up with, which was, oh, I'm comforting, as Maji said, I'm comforting with food and with drink. And that if I want my energy back up, and I am committed to being a leader who inspires others to live the life of your dreams, I gotta get right with my food. So I've cleaned my life up a little bit. And
Restore your integrity.
I restored my
restore your integrity.
And integrity trickles away a little bit at a time. So sometimes you just don't notice it. It doesn't make you, I'm not making you wrong. Nobody's wrong about it. It's that when we take an inventory of where we are because we're not at our peak happiness, that's the trick. So you already know inside of you some of the best things you can do for yourself. And it's taking the inventory of your integrity and where you want to be to raise up your energy. And by the way, you might lose some weight if that's what your thing is too.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah. Can I have an invitation for people?
Yeah.
I would invite you to take a few minutes to look at what's blocking you from having your highest energy. Take a few minutes each day to say, what could I do to lift my energy? Just be my invitation. And I'll see you. We'll talk more about this in September.
Yeah. So Lauren's going to be leading the whole part on how food and preparing food impacts our not just energy, but how we feel about ourselves and how we live our life. So you're supposed to see a screen called Ritual Equals Grounding. Everybody see that? Awesome, thank you. So Minerva is gonna show us a grounding ritual. So Katie gave let's take a look at looking at life from a new perspective. Jorge gave us heaven, which I love, and this one. And now Minerva's gonna give us from the yoga community. Minerva, are you with us today?
Yes, can you all hear me okay?
We can hear you and we can see you. And Minerva's going to talk about the power of grounding and how that can be a ritual to begin our day and live the life of our dreams.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Minerva. I'm the founder, creator, and griot of Roots Healing. I'm excited to share space with you all today. I really love to create and hold space for holistic healing, right? Designed to kind of get us all free and break these chains that we have both internally and externally, individually and collectively. So just for today, if you can just all sit and just put your feet on the ground, right? If you can have your bare feet on the ground, that's great. I am super mindful of the time, so I just want everyone to just sit up, to actually just sit, but have your feet on the ground and then just kind of let yourself lean on whatever it is that you're sitting on, right? So that you can feel supported, right? So that we don't have to feel like we always need to be like super alert, right? Because that's actually not really good for our nervous system, right? So just kind of feel like you can lean on yourself, have your feet on the ground so that you realize that you can always also rely on the earth, right? And just take a deep inhale. Just simply exhale it out of your mouth. Yeah. And my offering for today, just a little bit of where it comes from, right? My experiences as a priestess in my traditional African spiritual practice of Ifa, my explorations of the psychology of yoga, the philosophy of meditation, the science of Ayurveda, all of those things kind of always are informing everything that I do, right? Every step that I take. And one way that I do this is I've created this 8-week course that some of us have already spoken about called The Sacred Ritual. And over the 8 weeks, you know, the big aha moment is to realize that everything that we do is sacred. Everything that we do is a ritual, right? Our rituals are vital to our everyday and they help form our habits, right? And, you know, just also too, because tomorrow's the new moon, I don't know how many of you are into those things, but I am. And so it's always really nice, right? In traditional practices, right? Farmers plant seeds on the new moon, right? So in terms of thinking about ways in which we can plant new seeds during this new moon, new seeds of rituals that we want to call in, right, into our lives, and new habits that kind of really allow us to begin to break free, right? So if you want, this is again an invitation and offering, you can create 2 lists. And one list that you make is to write everything that you really like about yourselves, to promote warmth in your heart. And I can also write this in the chat so that everybody has it, right? And then to also write another list of those characteristics about ourselves that we tend to shy away from, right? The ones that we're like, oh, maybe not today. I won't really look at that. I'll deal with that tomorrow, right? And so, because those are the ones that actually help us to reflect on what we commit to working on, right? And what we can commit to learn to love about ourselves. And so with an affirmative recognition of our best attributes and honesty about like our insecurities and where we are, we can kind of see past these things, right? And truly meet our potential. So little by little, right? Just begin to plant the seeds of things that you know, affirming on loving more, affirming on working through more, and also the things that you really, really, really love about yourselves. And that's it for me. And I'll be teaching the yoga and the retreat, and I look forward to hanging out with everyone in September.
Awesome. And we
Thank
are
you.
blessed to have Minerva with us. Minerva, can you say a little bit about your work with the African American female community? Because I was very attracted to that, which is why one of our consultants found you. And so I'd like to just share with people what you're up to.
Yeah, I mean, I am Puerto Rican and Dominican myself, and one of the course that I mentioned briefly is an 8-week meditation course specifically for women of color. And a lot of the work that I do is creating spaces for people of color, women of color specifically. Again, just to kind of create spaces where we feel safe enough to kind of really begin to break free, right? But again, like the philosophies and the psychology and just all of the work, the spiritual practice, you know, it translates to everyone. But I mean, you know, my heart is in really helping my fellow women kind of really break free. So yeah, I don't know what else.
No, it's awesome. That's good.
Okay.
So I want to thank you, Minerva and Jorge and Lauren and Katie. And so I want to just underline again the power of ritual, the power of creating habits. When habits become second nature, it not only rewires our thinking, it rewires our biochemistry and how we react. I was saying that I started taking up TM, and Transcendental, Bob Roth, he does podcasts. He's out of New York City, got his start in San Francisco, but he's the head of the David Lynch Foundation. And I've been meditating with him and 2,000 other people every day. By the way, the guy does it for free because he wants to change the world. And the synapses that get created through habit help us not be a reaction to everything someone says. Why did you say that? You hurt my feeling. You know, constantly looking to start an argument with people rather than saying, oh, wow, man, I'm triggered right now. My feelings are hurt. That exists within me. I choose to have my feelings hurt. So the power of habit helps us navigate life. And rituals are habits to ground us in being our best person. And so we've got everybody you saw today is going to be part of our 2.5-day retreat, which is a weekend, means you got to give up a whole weekend and you're surrounded with community. Last time we did it live, we capped it at 24 people. This time we're capping it at 40 people. The last piece of this morning is about incantations or invocations or affirmations, depending on who's doing the training. People call them different things. But what I can tell you is I created, back when I did a Jack Canfield training 20 years ago, and Jack took the work that I did in Landmark and exponentially raised it. I spent, I think, 20 days with him. And part of that training was creating our future as reality. And so you can't really see the words on here, but I created for every domain of my life, how my life would look. And I read the big goals every month, and every year I do the 100 things I accomplished, the 100 goals I have for the year. And then I have some incantations, and some of my incantations are, I am financially free. The universe sends me everything I need. In fact, everything I want to live my best life in abundance. And I say that to myself in the mirror. And if the person in the mirror doesn't believe it, then I got to do some extra shoring up. So I have this many incantations I read every day. Some days I'm jumping up and down in the mirror. Some days I'm sitting down and meditating it. But the truth is, if I allowed my thoughts to run the show, I would have applied for a job on March 21st. And I haven't had a job in 25 years. I do what I love and I work for myself. And there's no way in heaven I am going to be applying for a job, because I know myself as somebody who is a person who creates transformation on the planet. And I will do that to the day I die. Now, will I partner with people? Hell yeah. So the I am, not I'm going to be, someday maybe, but not now. It's an action verb. The other thing is, even when you're doing your own resumes, your own marketing, not I will, not I can, I am. And it comes from who you are as the possibility. So body movement, big and key here, whatever works for you, get your ass moving. Joseph, I forget his last name, Lauren, Joseph Lindemann III. Anyhow, he's connected with body. He's this awesome Black guy. And he gets out there and he says, when you move your body, you move the energy field, you move your cells. By the way, if you are walking, running, doing yoga, and you are having negative thoughts, I can't stand my husband, I can't believe he did this, you get that in your body on a cellular level. If you are walking, running, moving, and you incantate positivity, that's what you will have on a cellular level. So we're running out of time. It's 11 o'clock. I invite any of you who are inspired to come to our retreat to come. It is September 25, 26, 27. We've got group leaders who have all been in this education for many years. Many were in the last retreat. This is the link. I don't know, Lacey, will you put it in the chat, or did you already do that? The cost is $499. We're not looking to make money on this. We're looking to be able to pay these beautiful people for their contribution. And we are looking to change the world and empower people. The world needs leaders now, 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 now. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time and energy. And I appreciate everybody who participated, and even those of you who came to the call and I didn't get a chance to call on. Thank you very much. Have an awesome life. We hope to see you in September. Bye.